Hello everybody, Sim Creations here with another Sims 4 house build. So today I am working on a modern build. So this is actually inspired by a house that is in the neighborhood I live in. But I don't live in a neighborhood full of modern looking houses, which is kind of what drew my attention to it. According to local lore, if you will, the house was built by some rich guy. He built it for his parents to live beside him. So there's two houses in this kind of modern style with the roof, the two pieces of roof, in that very like desert looking modern style. So this house has always just been of interest to me. So I thought, you know what, let's use it as inspiration for this next house build. So you can see here, I've got the main structure of the house with the two pieces of roof there on the angles at different height. So here I'm working on the rooftop garden area. This is something I created for the build and kind of going off of the original inspiration. So all those little pieces there to level it out, those are actually tables I used, and I just moved them up using the Control 9 function. Because it didn't allow me to make a flat surface for the garden there. And now that I'm thinking about it, I could have just raised all those plants up, but I still like that it was there to provide that foundation. So that's a little trick that I picked up here and there. So here I'm just doing the external part of the house. So I decided to do that kind of plaster looking yellow, and then the wood paneling, which I think is a perfect combination for this modern house. And then I decided to add that little railing around the rooftop garden there. So it's supposed to be one of those gardens that you don't really have to tend to because it's not really accessible to the Sims. But, you know, this is a Sim, so who really cares if it's practical or not? Those are all just plants I don't have to take care of. Okay, so here I'm just trying to figure out what the front of the house should look like. I cut out a little bit of it so you didn't have to see me going through 20 different window options because that can get pretty boring really fast. But I end up sticking with those rounded ones, which I like. It's a little different, and it doesn't always seem like it's very modern, that arch, but I like the juxtaposition of that on the house. And I used that new sliding door, which I'm so glad that we finally have in the game. It's just a nice, classic kind of patio door. So I've also left this patio out on the front here, and I purposefully go for a little bit of a more simplistic look for the exterior here. I'm just trying to figure out what should go on the walls because it needs something. I really wanted that water fountain to work, but it just wouldn't size that properly. So I ended up going with kind of a classic looking little garden in there with some neat shrubbery. So I just gotta add the lights in there to make it look good. And then I added that little plant on the wood piece there, which I think is simple but nice. So here I am just kind of trying to play with the garden in the front, but I ended up just having that look too bulky. It worked for that back section, but not so much for the front here. So I just lay down some tile, and then I always find it tricky to figure out how to connect the house to the sidewalk. It either looks really forced or just dumb, but I feel pretty okay with how that turned out. So here I'm just adding the pillars to kind of finish off the look, which is why I decided to make the roof shorter, because I wanted to have it kind of go down to the side just based on this original house I got inspiration from. But you can't really make the roof go straight down, so I just use those pillars to kind of fake the look. So here I am trying to figure out where to put the kitchen. Originally I was going to have it there, and then I just decided it was eating up way too much of the space, so I moved into that back corner, which is where it lives for the rest of the build. I kind of play around with it a little bit, but that's the gist of it. Yeah, so I really think that it was the best place for it. And then I made that little 4x4 faux island there because I really liked the idea of the Sims sitting on the one side of it with the counter, and then on the other side having workable space with a sink and stuff like that. I just think it's a nice modern look. And then the two-tone cabinets, I think is a good look as well. So that wallpaper that I put up behind, I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of like that little tile with a few off colors. At first I thought it looked a little bit old-fashioned, but then I kind of decided that I like it. Because I've noticed in a lot of modern buildings I've been in lately, they have that almost what I think of as like the pool tile that you see on the floors and the walls when you're at the public pool. But I just thought it fit really well. So choosing the flooring was also difficult. I was tempted to go with my classic wood flooring, but then again I was like, I want to go for that super sleek kind of modern look here, and I decided that marble tile would be the best fit. So I'm just doing my classic, adding the lights behind the cabinets to give it that good looking view for when you're in the gameplay, so not everything's dark. I did notice though when I was doing the screenshots, there are some parts of this build that are a bit dark for my liking, but if you decided to build something similar, you could easily adjust that. So here I'm just tucking the garbage bin into the cabinets. That's kind of my trick. If you tuck it in halfway, it's not quite as intrusive in the space, but the Sims can still use it. Okay, so I'm just moving on to some wall coverings. So this is the bedroom in the back, and that weird little L shape is going to be the bathroom. So here I am doing the window coverings, or not window coverings, sorry, the wall coverings. I used those 3 pictures that match, and then I kind of, instead of doing a 4th one, I wanted to add in something a little different. So you can see I'm looking around for a console table to put there, and end up going with that gray shelf, which I think fits in there nice, and then I just raised up a plant to go on it, which I think finishes it off really nice. I'm happy with how it turned out. Okay, so you can see I just jump cut it away because I had a big trial period with the living room. So I decided just to cut that part out because I ended up using it and just go right ahead to the dining room, sorry. So I really love the way those red chairs look. And this is a little bit more of a simplistic decorating style, but I like it. Like, I think it's kind of that modern look. And I thought about putting a carpet underneath it, but I really wanted to show off those tiles. Okay, so here I am struggling with the living room. Be grateful that I cut out all the times I put furniture in there and took it out and moved it around. It made the video way too long to leave it all in, plus basically none of it ended up staying. So you can see here that I kind of have the bones started, and I sized down the fireplace because it was really just too big for that space. So you see I sized it up again, which I think this is still one size lower than the default, which I'm not sure how it works in the gameplay when you light a fire in it, like if the fire goes outside of the fireplace or not, but you could investigate that. So I pretty much keep this set up with the 2 chairs across from the fireplace and that bookcase there, and I'm pleased with it. I think it turned out good. So I'm just adding in the artwork there, and you can see the lighting, forever dealing with the lighting there. I ended up using that gray kind of flutter lamp. I'm not sure that I love that, but I think it was a good fit for the space. So here I am trying to add just a little bit of additional seating or some kind of like coffee table-esque thing, but the problem is the coffee tables all seem really high to me, and when you shrink them down to the next level using the bracket keys, you can't actually put stuff on them, like everything floats. It's just a lot of hassle. So you can see here I shrunk one down quite significantly actually to put in between those 2 chairs. And you'll see later when I try to put something on it that I have to really fiddle with it. So I'm just adding in a few little details there. I end up with that little stool, if you can see it beside the light, which I think is nice. I really like that piece. I've used it a lot. So here I am just bumping out the bedrooms there because you need to have a good amount of space in the bedroom, I've learned. You can't just squeeze it all in there. It's nice to have a little bit extra room. So if you notice there, that little chair couplet, again, I played around a lot with that. I ended up cutting most of it out and just showing you the end product because it's just 2 chairs and a rug and then the size down table with a lamp on it. So the trick though when you're doing a size down table is to raise up the lamp using the Control 9 feature, put it where you want it to be, and then put the table underneath it, like the size down table, because if you do the size down table and then the lamp will want to snap to the higher level of the original table, because the sizing down doesn't actually change where items snap to, if that makes sense. So I'm just adding in some curtains there. It's not overly exciting, but I played around with that a little bit. And finally, we get to go to the bedroom. I realized that I'm not really the best at doing bedrooms. Like, they're fine. You can see there I did a jump cut ahead because, again, I played around a lot with it. And no one wants to see me trying out 40 different end tables and realizing none of them are just quite right. See, I end up pulling those ones away anyways. Oh, I love that wallpaper. I ended up using it in the bathroom, but it's very trendy for right now. Thought about the bedroom, but I thought with the green comforter it looked a little much. So I end up going with that kind of classic wood paneling. I really like that. I use it a lot. And then again, the great end table hunt. And I have to size most of them down just because I think they look so big beside the furniture. So I think I end up with these two wooden ones, which I think look good. And then it's just a matter of adding the lighting in. So I go with those big lights for a little while, and then I switch back to the lamps that I had before. And then I end up just sizing down that big ceiling light so that it would still be bright enough in the room. And then it's just going for some simple artwork. And then I always like to add a bureau, which you'll see me do later. So there's the bathroom. It's kind of an awkward shape here. And maybe on second thought I would rearrange it a bit, but you get all the pieces in there. So that's all that really matters to me. I end up popping it out again the other direction, and that gives me enough room to kind of fit the toilet and the sink beside each other, and it doesn't look quite so awkward. So I just really love that wallpaper now that I'm looking at it again. It's so trendy. I mean, it's something that people in 20 years will look back at on us and be like, oh, I can't believe they did that. Like the same way we could look at those ugly mustard couches that our parents have in the basement, or the shag rugs, and think how nasty that was. This is going to be one of those things, but for now, it's on trend and I really like it. And I would put it in my house if wallpapering wasn't so hard. Okay, so here's the bureau I was just talking about a minute ago. So I'm just looking for a little piece to put over it. The problem is when you sometimes upsize things, like pictures, they stick out too far, so I end up going with this cloth that I actually kind of forgot was in The Sims, but I really like it. Okay, so here we are on the screenshots already. So you can see that so I added that landscaping, by the way, off camera. The kitchen, I think it turned out pretty good. I really like that living room. It's different, but it's simplistic. And that little bookcase there, and a little nook, another seating nook, and the kind of different colored walls. I just think it's nice, and I really like how it all came together. It doesn't have a lot of extra stuff in it, but it's just, nice. Whoa, that screenshot really shows off that wallpaper there. And then there's, of course, the one with the whole Sims area. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.